It's Wednesday, August 2019, and this is Globespan 24x7 news. My name is Samuel Sugnandan, coming to you live from Georgetown, Guyana. Here are the major headlines for today. No new agreement unless previous promises are honored, says GTU. Different opinions on decision to end house-to-house registration. Police issued wanted bulletin for man who killed mother of three. GAFDD clamps down on substandard medication in city, and Brazilians ashamed of government's handling of Amazon fires. We start off tonight's news by telling you that the People's Progressive Party Civic, PPPC, has urged the Guyana Elections Commission, GCOM, to move decisively by immediately launching a claims and objections exercise, which will allow all those who are not on the National Register of Registrants and are eligible to be properly registered. The party said in a statement late Tuesday that the planned merger of data from the house-to-house registration will not improve the quality or credibility of the database. Rather, it will further contaminate the National Register of Registrants and cause further delays in the holding of elections. A statement released by GCOM yesterday said the Commission has an obligation to produce a credible official list of electors in the first instance and ultimately credible elections. As such, the Commission said it will continue to further deliberate on other matters of importance for the holding of elections within the shortest possible time, and Secretariat will continue to implement a number of operations activities, in particular training of polling day staff and procurement of non-sensitive materials. Some 297,000 persons have so far been registered in the ongoing house-to-house registration exercise. Following the decision to end the current house-to-house registration exercise on Saturday by the Guyana Elections Commission, politicians from both major political parties have voiced different opinions on the matter. We find out more in this report. My apologies. Irfan Ali, the People's Progressive Party Civic presidential hopeful, plans to tackle the many issues affecting women and children in Ghana if elected at the next general and regional elections. Here's that story.
PPC's presidential candidate Irfan Ali posited that women and children are the two most important resources in Guyana and the ones facing the most struggles in the country. As such, Ali stated that they will be a priority for his government if elected at the upcoming elections.
Women, children, and the elderly, and vulnerable groups as a whole are special segments in our society that we must pay particular attention to.
The presidential hopeful said that attention will be placed on education and the health sector as it relates to women and children. Along with those two parties, Guyanese elders will also be made priority. Ali made mention of plans to institute free university education to Guyanese students, a call made on several occasions by representatives of the university's student society.
First of all, we have to ensure that our healthcare system is improved. We have to improve our healthcare system so that we can have vaccination, we can have vaccination on time, and we can have full coverage of vaccination for our children. Our education system must also improve to ensure that all our children have access not only to primary education.
For Globespan 24x7 News, Shakima Day.
Thanks, Shakima. The Ghana Police Force has issued a wanted bulletin for Clive Frederick Wilson, 37, who is wanted in relation to the murder of Shemaine Frank, a mother of three, who was stabbed to death on August 25 at her home. Wilson's last known address is Lot 37, North Hassington, East Coast, Demerara, and B. Starlight. Authorities are asking anyone with information that may lead to the arrest of Clive Frederick Wilson to contact the police on telephone numbers 226-6978, 225-8196, 226-2870-911, or the nearest police station. Reports are that at about 300 hours on the date of the incident, the suspect was seen entering the woman's yard and was ordered by her brother to leave because of the abusive relationship that his sister suffered at the hands of Wilson for the past few years. However, shortly after, the brother told police that he heard screams and went to his sister's aid. She was discovered with a stab wound to her left side breast. Upon surveillance of the property, it was discovered that the three louver panes were missing from a window in the home. The woman was picked up and taken to the Georgetown Public Hospital, where she was pronounced dead on arrival. The suspect has since gone into hiding. Investigations are ongoing. After being released from the United States custody in July, drug lord Shahid Roger Khan will finally be expected in Ghana in the first week of September. Khan, who was serving a 10-year jail sentence for drug trafficking, remained in the U.S. after being released due to problems emerged regarding his extradition to Guyana. It is unclear whether or not the drug kingpin will be charged for alleged crimes committed in Guyana. Khan has been fingered as the head of a phantom death squad and a vast drug trafficking network years ago. There are claims that he had close links with politicians, but these claims were never confirmed. According to reports received, Khan will be escorted by U.S. law enforcement agents and handed over to local police at the Chedijagan International Airport. Mayor of Georgetown, Ubraj Ryan, today pleaded with the general public to pay up their outstanding rates and taxes. This call comes following the announcement that City Hall owes millions of dollars to the National Insurance Scheme, which they are expected to pay immediately. More in this report.
Business owners and residents were today called upon by Georgetown Mayor Ubraj Narain to settle their outstanding rates and taxes. According to Mayor Narain, City Hall is unable to function to its full capacity because of the large sums of money owed to them. Currently, City Hall owes the National Insurance Scheme over $200 million, a sum they are expected to clear soon. Narain noted that if persons pay their taxes in a timely fashion, such an issue will never arise.
It's a normal City Hall here, which in the entire public aware of. That if people do not pay their rates and taxes, how can we able to do work in the City Hall? We can able to sustain our staff. The struggle is on at City Hall, where we're trying to battle all around to find ways and means in the right way to garner revenue to maintain the city.
Narain mentioned that the amnesty period is still in effect and urged persons to take advantage of it.
The reason why we offer that, and it's something that I appeal the public to come forward, let us work together. And I maintain that. I want to work with the commercial, the industrial, the resident in this city to build this city of ours. And I establish maybe amnesty so that we can come and we can have a one-on-one, so that we can able to have dialogue and discuss the way forward.
It was previously reported that City Hall is default of NIS payments to the tune of $218 million. If the sum is not paid, NIS will not be able to offer benefits due to their workers. Reporting for Globespan 24x7 News, Shakima Day.
Thanks, Shakima. We'll now return to the story earlier in the newscast, where politicians from both major political parties have voiced different opinions on the decision to end the house-to-house registration exercise. Here's that story now. After weeks of deliberations on GCOM's house-to-house registration exercise, the chairwoman, retired Justice Claudette Singh, has decided to end the process this Saturday, August 31, 2019. Attorney-at-law and former Attorney General Anil Nandlal has since voiced his opinion on the matter, stating that although GCOM has instructed that the process be halted, he is not entirely pleased.
I am not pleased with that decision at all. I am not impressed. I am not impressed. The house-to-house registration should have been immediately stopped. That's the first thing. And secondly, the second component of the decision is even more disturbing, in my view. It is that the data generated by this exercise will now be merged into the existing database.
Nandlal, an executive of the opposition People's Progressive Party Civic, PPPC, feels the move is in defiance of the CCJ ruling on the no-confidence motion passed in the parliament. Geecom said that the data garnered during house-to-house registration will be merged with the existing National Register of Registrants, but Nandlal and his party is not pleased with that.
I object to this component of the decision for the following reasons. One, the data generated by this exercise is deeply flawed. It was unscrutinized by any political party other than the government party. Secondly, the form used to accumulate the data is the wrong statutory form. It is the wrong statutory form. Thirdly, the data accumulated will take approximately 3 or more months to be inputted and to be cross-referenced with the existing data, because that is the next step of the exercise.
In the meantime, political scientist Dr. David Hines said the unilateral decision taken by the Geecom chair to end the exercise has the potential to disenfranchise Guyanese who are eligible to vote but have not been registered. He was quoted in sections of the media saying, "I am puzzled by the abrupt termination of the house-to-house registration, as it could potentially disenfranchise those new voters who have not yet registered," end quote. Meanwhile, Director of Public Information under the Office of the Prime Minister, Imran Khan, sought to provide some clarifications on the decision by Geecom. He said that citizens may misinterpret the decision based on what he described as sensational media reports.
This is an acknowledgement by Geecom that one, it has to have a credible list of electors, and two, that it must preside over credible elections in Guyana whenever those elections are held, and that it must be done, the elections must be had within the shortest possible time. And there has hardly been any disagreement with regard to elections being held in Guyana within the shortest possible time. The difficulty has been over the issue of credibility. Some people seem, particularly the opposition, seem to want to have any elections as quickly as possible. And the government side, we've been saying, His Excellency President David Granger has been saying and insisting, rightfully so, that elections in Guyana must be credible. And we cannot have elections in a willy-nilly way that will allow persons to question those elections, whether legally or politically or otherwise, after they're held. So the issue of a credible list and the issue of credible elections are being taken very, very seriously by Geecom, as stated in their release today.
For Globespan 24x7 News, I am Samuel Substandard. Newly appointed Indian High Commissioner to Ghana, Dr. K.J. Srinivasa, today announced that his country will be offering more academic scholarships to applicable Guyanese students in various fields. We'll tell you more in this report.
The announcement was made earlier today when Indian High Commissioner Dr. K.J. Srinivasa paid a courtesy call on Georgetown Mayor Ubraj Narain. The High Commissioner, after an intense discussion with the Mayor, told the media that the scholarship program is part of India's strong commitment to Guyana in ensuring that Guyanese students progress academically with the best training available. The High Commissioner also highlighted plans to offer cultural scholarships to Guyanese who have an interest in the cultural history of India.
So we have, as you know, excellent experts, professionals in IT, in medicine, you name it, in all the various branches. So as part of our international cooperation program, we have something called as the ITEC, the Indian Technological and Educational Cooperation Program, wherein we give scholarships, short-term scholarships, fully paid for young students and graduates from this country in various fields, in IT, in geology, in mining, in agriculture, you name it. There are various courses. It's left to the applicant to choose.
The relationship between India and Guyana ever since the independence of Guyana in May 1966 has been close and cordial with a high degree of understanding. The the warmed-in relation remains unaffected with changes in the governments, either in India or in Guyana. Reporting for Globespan 24x7 News, Shakima Day.
Thanks, Shakima. The Government Analyst Food and Drug Department has unearthed a number of substandard and falsified medications at 9 pharmacies in the city of Georgetown during a recent operation. The Ghana Police Force has been called in to assist with the investigation. In a statement on Tuesday, GAFDD said it launched an investigation on August 22nd after receiving a complaint that an unknown individual is either clandestinely manufacturing or importing SF medication for sale in the local market. According to GAFDD, the inspectors visited 16 pharmacies in Georgetown and outlying areas during the period of August 22 to 23, 2019, and 9 of the pharmacies were engaging in the sale of falsified medication. The Food and Drug Watchdog said inspectors unearthed a total of 17 boxes of a medication labeled Chanca Piedra for Morstif, with a manufacturer's address stated only as Mainland Labs in Canada. That medication, according to the label, reportedly treats gall and kidney stones, clean the liver and the urinary tract. 28 boxes of a product named Fungabort were also found with the same manufacturer named. That medication claims to be effective in the treatment of nail fungus. In addition, 23 boxes of phosphorine were also seized and removed from premises. Since the stated address, Phosphorine Healthcare Company, Toronto, Canada, could not have been established by the Food and Drug Department. GAFDD said efforts to verify the stated address on the labels of the other 2 products were also unsuccessful. It said that all the items were seized and removed from the premises. Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Gobin Ganga, said Republic Bank Guyana Limited has reimbursed $20 million to nearly 300 customers following a series of fraudulent activities on its Visa International debit cards. Dr. Ganga told sections of the media yesterday that Republic Bank has been providing the central bank with updates on the situation, with the last update received less than 2 weeks ago. Added, the bank is also working with Visa International to use a series of real-time decline rules to protect against fraudulent transactions. On May 15, the bank that through its robust monitoring systems, it was able to quickly identify cases where customers' cards were compromised and to effectively minimize the risk to other customers. In a statement released by Republic Bank, it was noted that the bank has taken the necessary steps to regularize all affected accounts using a well-defined standard process focused on reducing customer inconvenience, and advises that impacted customers will be asked to confirm and validate their transactions to assist with the process. The Guyana Teachers Union President Mark Light said there are old commitments in multi-year agreements, both past and present, under the current administration and previous government that were not honored, and no new agreements will be made until that is done. Kibini Jordan filed this report.
Clothing allowance is yet to be paid in September. Payments for teachers at special needs schools and the bunching are among the commitments yet to be honored by government. This is according to Guyana Teachers Union President Mark Light in a fourth interview with this newscast.
But we still have several things that we wanted the ministry to really honor those before we proceed with the new agreement. Having said that, we would have submitted the new proposal to the ministry, and we had one meeting, I think sometime in April or so, and ever since the union has asked that we do not proceed with the new discussion until we are satisfied that what was signed to in the old agreement is honored. So that's where we are with the new salary talks.
On the other hand, the President does not believe that the current status with the government will cause any hindrance with the negotiating of any wages.
The government still remains in office. I'm not advised that they are not in office, whether they have a caretaker status or not. So they still have the capacity to negotiate and enter into agreement. So the union, our union, don't see that as an issue with having a new agreement looked at. But our concern is going into a new agreement with several outstanding things in the last one. So that has been our concern, and it will be good if this government can put systems in place to give more confidence for the working class people that they are interested.
As per their first multi-year agreement, house lots were to be given to teachers with the initial request for housing schemes catered for at least 50 teachers was not granted. It was later agreed between the GTU and the government that teachers will be given priority for housing. For Globespan 24x7 News, I am Kippany Jordan.
Thanks, Kippany. The Amazon fires has caught the attention of countries around the world, including rights groups and activists that work to protect and conserve the environment. And equally important, the Brazilian government, led by Jair Bolsonaro, has received widespread condemnation of its handling of the situation. To understand the depth of the situation, I spoke with a media colleague in Brazil who has traveled as far as Bolivia, as well as to assess the situation regarding the fires in the Amazon. Lucas Rohan, a freelance Brazilian journalist and journalism lecturer, now joins us to explain the situation.
Well, it's a dramatic situation. We never saw a situation like that in Amazon rainforest. Since the January of this year, we have more than 80,000 fires in Amazon, and we are seeing that our government in Brazil is not giving the better answer, if I can say, if I can put like that, to these fires. And well, it's a really sad and really worried situation right now in Brazil with the Amazon, and not only in Brazil, in all the countries that have Amazon rainforest in our region.
Rohan said Brazilians generally are not pleased with how the situation is being handled and have spoken up against it. Recently, the Brazilian government rejected financial aid from the G7 countries to assist with bringing the fires to an end. One of the ministers instead said Europe can keep it and help to reforest their region.
I can say somehow that the Brazilian people right now are really ashamed about our government and the reaction on this situation. And I can say that because I talk to the people, because I'm Brazilian, and because I'm seeing the results of this most recently poll evaluating really bad the President Jair Bolsonaro.
An unprecedented number of fires have raged throughout Brazil in 2019, intensifying in August. There have been more than 74,000 fires so far this year, the most ever recorded by the country's National Institute for Space Research. Experts say deforestation and a practice called slash and burn are to blame for most of the flames. People cut down patches of forest, allow the area to dry out, then set the remains ablaze to make room for agriculture or the development. They might also set fires to replenish the soil and encourage the growth of pastures for cattle. Brazil is the world's top exporter of beef. Everyone on the planet benefits from the health of the Amazon as its trees take in carbon dioxide and release oxygen. The Amazon plays a huge role in pulling planet-warming greenhouse gases out of the atmosphere. Without it, climate change speeds up. But as the world's largest rainforest is eaten away by logging, mining, and agribusiness. We'll take a short break. Do join us after these messages.
We would like to ask all of our faithful viewers to kindly like and follow Globespan 24x7 Facebook page and subscribe to Globespan 24x7 YouTube channel to receive up-to-date notifications of when we are live. Globespan 24x7 has vacancies for full-time positions such as reporters, newscasters, and news editors. Persons serious about joining a new and dynamic news team are asked to send their application to careers@globespantechnology.com. TravelSpan is pleased to announce special fares from New York to Guyana for Christmas. Seats are available to travel, and depending on which dates you choose, fares range from $8.49 to $11.69. These are limited block seats on American Airlines non-stop flight from JFK to Guyana. Call 718-845-0437. That's 718-845-0437. Or book online at travelspan.com. TravelSpan does have a payment plan, so travel plans, call TravelSpan.
Amro's Travel Service is pleased to support Globespan 24x7 broadcasts. We provide travel solutions via our 4 locations in Trinidad. Chaguanas at 665-3383, Valpa 645-1604, Port of Spain 625-0800, and San Fernando at 652-4789. Remember, when you travel, Amro's is the way to go.
This newscast is brought to you with the kind compliments of TravelSpan GT, with locations in Georgetown and Berbice. For all your travel needs, call TravelSpan GT at 327-1701, located at Lot 3A North Road, Georgetown, between Kemp and Wellington Street. In Rose Hall, call 337-4287, and in New Amsterdam, call 333-6230. Call TravelSpan today.
Thanks for staying with us. We'll now take a look at our regional and international news. Caribbean island states signaled their commitment to achieving a pollution-free future today, with representatives of 9 Caribbean nations gathering to launch the Implementing Sustainable Low and Non-Chemical Development in Small Island Development States Islands program in Trinidad. The $450 million Islands Initiative aims to tackle chemical and waste management in small islands development states. Globally, with a focus on Caribbean, Pacific, and Indian Ocean states, waste management is an issue of increasing importance to island nations globally, with growing populations, rapid development, and increasing amounts of imported goods, all putting pressure on the limited capacity of SIDS to safely manage and dispose of toxic and polluting substances. As of 2019, SIDS produced an average of 2.3 kilograms of waste per person per day, 48% higher than the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development average, much of it from the burgeoning tourism sector. Prime Minister Boris Johnson will suspend Britain's parliament for more than a month before Brexit, enraging opponents and raising the stakes in the country's most serious political crises in decades. Cheered on by US President Donald Trump, Johnson launched his boldest move yet to take the country out of the European Union by October 31, with or without a divorce deal, by setting a new date for a state opening of Parliament. Known as the Queen's Speech, the formal event will be held on October 14 and be preceded by a suspension of the House of Commons, meaning Parliament will not sit between mid-September and mid-October. The move, which had to be approved by Queen Elizabeth, limits the time opponents have to derail a disorderly Brexit, but also increases the chance that Johnson could face a vote of no confidence in his government and possibly an election. It also risks dragging the 93-year-old politically neutral Queen into the dispute. And now for a look at what's happening in sport. U.S. baseball player Blake Bivens' wife, 1-year-old son, and mother-in-law have been found dead at their home in rural Virginia on Tuesday. Bivens' brother-in-law, Matthew Bernard, was later arrested and charged with 3 counts of first-degree murder. Bernard, 18, was found running naked near the property in Pittsylvania, county officials say. Bivens, a pitcher attached to Major League Baseball's side Tampa Bay Rays, was on Tuesday in Alabama. He was about to play for Minor League Baseball's Montgomery Biscuits. That game has now been postponed as a mark of respect. In a statement posted on Twitter, Tampa Bay Rays said, "Our hearts are broken for Blake. We are grieving with him and will support him any way we can." Following the official launch of the inaugural edition of the 592 Street Kings Streetball Tournament on Monday last, a list of 16 teams have been confirmed. The tournament will see some well-established teams, inclusive of All Boys Town B, Tiger Bay, Gold Is Money, and Sparta Boss, take on younger street streetball outfits such as LA Ballers, Future Stars, Johnson Street, and Avocado Ballers across the 3 nights of highly anticipated action. Even locations which have been confirmed thus far includes Berlin Tarmac, while the second night will be played at the Burnham Court and the final yet to be announced. The 3 nights which will be played on September 7, 14, and 21 will see the teams clash in a straight knockout competition with 8 games on night 1. The 592 Street Kings of 2019 will pocket $300,000, while the runner-ups will collect $150,000. Third place finishers will grab $100,000, while fourth placers will receive $75,000, and the winners of the 592 Shield section will collect $50,000. Fixtures for the tournament will be released by the coming weekend. And that has brought us to the end of today's news. Before you go, here's a recap of the major headlines. No new agreement unless previous promises are honored, says GTU. Different opinions on decision to end house-to-house registration. Police issue wanted bulletin for man who stabbed mother of 3. GAFDB clamps down on substandard medication in the city. And Brazilians ashamed of government's handling of Amazon fires. Thanks for watching Globespan 24/7 News. On behalf of myself, Samuel Suknaden, the news and technical team, until next time, do have a pleasant rest of the evening. Goodbye for now.